I turned 72 the day my son asked me to sign the papers. He didn't bring flowers. He didn't bring cake. He brought documents. And the way he smiled, it wasn't love, it was calculation. But what my children didn't know was this: old hands may tremble, but old minds, they never forget how to survive. And that was the day I decided, if they wanted to treat me like a burden, I would remind them who built their world. My name is Eleanor Whitmore. This house, this big, old, slightly crooked house, was built by my husband, Thomas, 47 years ago. Every brick has a story. The hallway still echoes with my children's laughter. The kitchen still smells faintly of cinnamon and Sunday mornings. But lately, the house feels quieter, not because it's empty, but because the love inside it changed. My son Daniel moved back in temporarily 2 years ago after his business failed. Temporary became permanent, then his wife, Claire, moved in too. Then their opinions moved in too. They started calling it the property, not home, property. That was the first sign. It didn't happen suddenly. Respect doesn't disappear overnight. It fades, like wallpaper peeling slowly. Claire started reorganizing my kitchen. Without asking, Daniel changed the Wi-Fi password and forgot to tell me. They began discussing renovations in front of me as if I wasn't sitting there. Once the house is legally ours, that sentence slipped out one evening. Legally ours. I smiled, but I heard everything. You see, when you reach my age, people assume you don't notice. That is their biggest mistake. On my 72nd birthday, Daniel placed a folder in front of me. "Mom, this is just for security," he said. Power of attorney. Property transfer preparation. Just in case something happens. Something. I asked him gently, "Do I look like something is happening?" He laughed. Claire avoided eye contact. I told them I needed time. They looked disappointed. Not worried, disappointed. That night, I didn't cry. I remembered. I remembered working 2 jobs after Thomas passed away. I remembered selling my jewelry to pay Daniel's college fees. I remembered holding him when he said he would always take care of me. Children don't always remember promises. Mothers do. What my children forgot was that I was not just a housewife. Before I married Thomas, I worked in legal administration for 15 years. I understand paperwork. I understand ownership. And I understand timing. The house, it was fully in my name. The savings, separate accounts. The antiques, appraised privately last year. I had planned my future carefully. Not because I didn't trust my children, but because life had already taught me that security is not selfish. It is survival. So, instead of arguing, I started observing. One afternoon, I overheard Claire on the phone. Yes, once it's transferred, we'll renovate and sell within a year. Sell. Sell the house Thomas built with his bare hands. That was the moment something inside me shifted. Not anger, clarity. The next week, I made 3 quiet appointments. A financial advisor, a real estate consultant, and a state lawyer. I didn't tell Daniel. I didn't warn Claire. I simply smiled at dinner and passed the salt. They thought I was unaware, but I was 3 steps ahead. 2 months later, I invited everyone for Sunday lunch. Daniel, Claire, my daughter Melissa, who lived out of state. They thought it was about the papers. They were right, but not in the way they expected. I handed each of them an envelope. Inside was a letter. I have decided to sell the house. Daniel's face went pale. Claire nearly dropped her glass. I will be moving into a small historic cottage near the lake. It is fully paid. Silence. I continued. The proceeds from this house will be placed into a trust. Melissa looked confused. Daniel looked panicked. The trust will fund community scholarships for single parents. In your father's name. Claire finally spoke. But what about us? I smiled gently. You are adults, and I raised you to stand on your own. Daniel was angry for weeks. He accused me of betrayal. I listened calmly. Then I asked him one question. Were you planning to take care of me or take from me? He had no answer. They moved out within 3 months. Not because I forced them, because the illusion was broken. Without ownership dangling in front of them, the house lost its attraction. That told me everything. I now live in a small cottage by the lake. It's quiet, but it's honest quiet. Last month, the first scholarship was awarded. A young mother cried when she received it. And for the first time in a long while, so did I. Daniel still calls. Our relationship is healing. Slowly. But this time, it is built on truth, not inheritance. If there's one thing I want you to remember, it's this. Growing old does not mean growing weak. Sometimes, it means finally understanding your worth and never letting anyone undervalue it again.